Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. The fiscal year 2021-2022 will undoubtedly be a challenging one as the prevailing conditions from 2020 will continue to persist. So says Prime Minister Allen Chastanet as he presented the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2021-2022 in Parliament Tuesday evening. He says the most important goal is to ensure that St. Lucians are kept safe and the economy kept buoyant.
In April 2020, Parliament approved a total expenditure of $1.697 billion, which represented 31.6% of GDP. Based on actual data for the period ending January 31st, 2021, total spending amounted to $1.534 billion, some $163.3 million lower than the approved budget for that year. The expected hike in expenditure, which was anticipated from accelerated project execution, was abated due to protocols and measures instituted to curb the spread of COVID-19. As indicated, government saw a near 50% shortfall in recurrent revenue, recording a 20.6% decline as compared to 2019-2020. Chastanet says that because of this, recurrent revenue is now projected at $883.9 million, while grant revenue receipts is estimated at $31.6 million, a 13.3% and 29.5% reduction, respectively.
Relative to the target for 2021-2022, tax revenue is forecast to decline by 13.2%. while a shortfall of 14.2% is anticipated for non-tax revenue. These projections are in keeping with actual performance for the fiscal year 2020-2021, which recorded lower than expected inflows in the areas of taxes on goods and services, which is projected to register a shortfall of 20.8%. Taxes on property, which is expected to fall by 18.73%. Taxes on international trade, which is forecasted to decline by 9.72%.
When compared to the 2020-2021 approved estimates based on the current trends in collection, value-added tax on domestic goods and services is projected to register a shortfall of 28.2% or $45.19 million when compared to the approved estimates for 2021.
In summary, Mr. Speaker, the COVID-19 pandemic has had and continues to have a catastrophic impact on the revenue outturn for 2020-2021, negatively impacting the tourism sector, which in turn has affected all other major sectors in the economy, including agriculture, manufacturing, retail and banking sectors, a blight not to the same degree. Due to the slowdown in private sector construction, our government's deliberate decision to proceed with a capital investment program has had a positive impact on tax revenue performance in the categories of international trade and goods and services. On the expenditure front, Mr. Speaker, although budgeted recurrent expenditure of $1.362 billion for the fiscal year 2020-2021, preliminary figures indicate the outturn is likely to be in the region of $1.292 billion, reflecting a reduction of $69.4 million relative to the approved estimates.
The Prime Minister was overcome by a wave of emotion as he reflected on the Herculean task that the technocrats within the Ministry of Finance have had to put forth amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
I wish to thank all the ministries, departments, and agencies which worked hard toward the preparation and the compilation of the estimates of revenue and expenditure. Special thanks to the management and the staff of the Department of Finance, who spearheaded this process and successfully completed the exercise. My government extends heartfelt thanks to the entire team of the Department of Finance for their dedication and unwavering commitment as they overcame many setbacks and persevered. This process, Mr. Speaker, had a number of challenging of challenges, primarily due to COVID-19 pandemic. Hence the reason for seeking an extension of time to present the budget a few weeks ago.
$565.5 million was approved for wages and salaries last year. Based on expenditure trends over the last 10 months, spending on wages and salaries is forecasted to be lower by $25.5 million. This in part due to the non-filling of vacancies and the deferment and payment of salary increases in the budget. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, is questioning government's use of state funds as outlined in the estimates of revenue and expenditure. Pierre claims that the government has misused millions of dollars on consultancies rather than augmenting the island's healthcare sector amid the ongoing pandemic.
A projection of over $18 million on consultancies and commissions within the Ministry of Health has caught the attention of opposition leader Philip J. Pierre as he debated the estimates of revenue and expenditure for 2021-2022 that was laid in Parliament on Tuesday. Pierre questioned who was being paid these sums.
Who are these consultancies being paid to? In the Ministry of Health? Are these fees being paid to friends and foreign consultants, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the $20.3 million over the last 3 years and the proposed $18 million to be spent for consultancies in the Ministry of Health. Consultancies in the Ministry of Health, Mr. Speaker. Well, this government continues to show contempt for local professionals who successfully commissioned the OKE hospital in 2021, not at the cost of $18 million for consultancies.
According to Pierre, these monies could have been put to better use within the Ministry of Health as the country continues to deal with its COVID crisis.
The $38.4 million that the government has spent $20 million and intends to spend another $18 million, Mr. Speaker, could be used to fund the health center in Denry North, to improve the oxygen supply at Victoria Hospital, could have a national COVID education and vaccination campaign aimed at vaccinating the entire population. It could refurbish and upgrade health centers and wellness centers and provide it with 24 hours of staffing. It could improve conditions, including equipment and medication at the OKE hospital. It could increase dialysis machines and the staffing. It could improve working conditions of nurses, doctors, and other health providers. But this government prefers to spend $18 million on consultancy for foreign consultants in the health service.
Pierre expressed his confidence in the competency and skill of professionals within St. Lucia's healthcare sector and calls on government to rescind any contracts with foreign consultants for the purpose of managing the OKEU hospital. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
On Tuesday, the 16th of March, emergency personnel from 3 fire stations responded to an incident which left 9 individuals injured. At approximately 5:40 p.m., a minibus carrying passengers lost control and flipped onto its side. The fire service spokesperson, Stacey Joseph, gave details of the crash.
Emergency personnel from the Babono and Grosley fire stations and fire service headquarters responded to a call of a motor vehicular incident at Former J in Castries. Information received stated that a minibus carrying 9 passengers veered off the road and landed on its side. The 9 passengers were treated by emergency personnel and were all transported in a stable condition to the OKEU hospital for further medical care. The driver of the minibus, however, refused medical assistance and remained on the scene.
All individuals are reportedly in stable condition. With an anonymous group advocating for change to come to St. Lucia, starting with the naming of some areas on island, the Hot 7 team asked a few locals if they believe that Rodney Bay is in need of a name change.
In St. Lucia, the name Admiral George Rodney immediately raises the thought of Rodney Bay in Grosley, Fort Rodney on Pigeon Island, and a premium St. Lucian rum. However, in reality, history shows that the Admiral had strongly opposed the abolition of the slave trade and, under his advice, saw the encouragement of overpacked slave ships, which resulted in the culling of hundreds of slaves at sea. Admiral Rodney was described by his peers as a conceited, vain, selfish, nepotistic, deceitful, theatrical, pompous, autocratic, untrustworthy man with little respect for his subordinates. Armed with this information, the question has been raised asking whether there should be a name change of Rodney Bay. A petition has also been created asking the masses to push for this to take effect sooner rather than later. Here's what a handful of locals had to say on this matter.
Well, if I'm 30 plus years and from the time I know myself, the name is Rodney B. I don't know why now they want to change it to something else. That doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Why?
Because that man was a slave master and his name shouldn't be nowhere in that country named after him, because if you are a slave master, your name not supposed to be nowhere in this country.
I feel it should be changed, because if that man was against abolition of slavery, and then he was killing the other slaves that didn't obey him, why should they name him after the country?
I don't think so.
I think they should change it immediately. They should definitely. Go on first. Thank you.
Same, I feel the same. Yeah, they should change that name.
Yeah, change it.
Due to the situation, I think they should do that. Yes, I agree.
Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Effective Wednesday, the 17th of March, the curfew hours have been shifted from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. to now 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Members of the public have weighed in on how they feel about the adjustment.
The curfew hours have been readjusted from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Our team took to the streets to find out how members of the public feel about the reduction in curfew hours. Here's what they had to say.
First, I want to say it's a very good move to reduce the curfew hours, because one of the key things is I work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Thursdays, and Friday and Saturdays I go like 8 after 8 p.m. in the evening. So my clients have a little time now to get to the shop so that I can give them the service and make some extra cash in these trying times. So I think I have to enjoy this moment and just hope that everybody practice all they need to practice.
Everybody will be enjoying it, because I hear a lot of people saying they shouldn't shut down the place 7 o'clock and this, that and the other. So this probably reached the Prime Minister. So he took his own decision and he put it 9 in the evening to 4 next morning. So everybody want to drink will have the thing to drink. Who want to sell will sell. Everything will be cool, no problem. Since I have no big gathering.
Well, with what's going on now, I believe it is good for our people. We just have to watch what's going on and make sure that everybody put masks, and when the curfew time, people go home and adhere to our protocol, and then everything should be back to normal.
Well, I feel very relieved, so to speak, because of the new opening time and closing time, rather. It was a bit strenuous as on my business, as people will be leaving work at the same time when I'll be closing, when I will be closing. That's when I would have depended on them to come to the barber shop to patronize my business.
And there you have it. Majority seem to be in favor of the revision of the curfew hours. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.